Hey, welcome back to my motivational message. Today we're going to be talking about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. This comes from a conversation that I was having with a group of educators this week, talking about the education process and learning and the challenges that teachers face with students who have a fixed mindset of, I'll never get math, versus students who have a growth mindset of I'm not there yet, but I can see where I'm going, or I'm not there yet, but I know where I want to be, and I'm willing to put in the work to get there. And so out of this conversation, I came across an article by Dr. Dweck who wrote about this, and I just want to share some of his thoughts and even some of my own thoughts on this, because I believe a fixed mindset is a very dangerous mindset to have, not just for a student, but just for anybody in life. And I have this rock representing the fixed mindset. I know when I was in the Marine Corps, a lot of times when guys just seem to not be able to get it, we'd call them rocks, and just unable to figure it out, and they were what they were. And but I think this is very dangerous, because I do believe some people can get the mindset that, hey, I am what I am and I'm not going to change, and so this is as good as it gets. And what happens is they shut down on all their learning, and they become very stagnant, become very complacent, and as the world changes and moves forward, they start getting left further and further behind. And actually, a fixed mindset makes life a whole lot more complicated the older you get, because life does not become less complicated, and life does not become slower over time. And so that the fixed mindset, excuse me, is very dangerous to have. So, of course, on the other hand, is this growth mindset where you constantly view yourself as, maybe I haven't arrived yet, but there's a path forward. And so I just want to share with you 4 things that were shared by Dr. Dweck in this article from Growing Leaders by Tim Elmore, that he said about steps towards getting a growth mindset. Number 1 was understanding that your brain works like a muscle. And so the more you use it, the more it's going to grow. And I think we're all familiar with bodybuilders and guys who, and even girls who use the weight room, and so they add weights, and they push the weights, and over time they try to push more, and they try to push more, and as they do that, their bodies, their muscles grow and develop. And the same thing is true with our brain. We can get lazy with our brain. We can binge watch Netflix. We can, just put PlayStation on for hours on end. We can, get involved with just amusement, non-thought activities. And the more we do that, the more our brain is just going to atrophy. It reminded me of a time where I broke my leg when I was in junior high, middle school, and I remember the doctor cutting that cast off 8 weeks later, and I was totally unprepared to see what had happened to my leg after not using it. My left leg was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I had been hopping on it and going upstairs with it and doing everything with it, and my right leg looked like Pee Wee Herman. It was this skinny thing. And the doctor assured me, they'll get back to normal. They'll both get back to the same size over time as you use it, but atrophying it, your muscles atrophy when you don't use it, your brain will atrophy as well. So consider your brain a muscle that needs to be exercised. Number 2, he said, was learn to use the word yet. I'm not good at math yet. Okay, I'm not good at free throws yet. And here's the thing, when you say I'm not good at math, period, that period is like building a wall that says this is as far as I go. But when you use the word yet, what you're doing is you're seeing a pathway forward where you're not where you can be, you're not where you could be or you want to be, but there is a path forward, and it's going to take some effort to get there. So the current condition that you're at is not where you have to stay, because there's that path. Whereas when you build a wall with a period, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at free throws, period, you're building a wall and you won't go forward. Speaking of effort, his third one was about effort, and that was to affirm effort. And not affirm, not say things like, oh, you're so smart, you're gifted, you're beautiful, you've really got that down. Because that also puts a period on things and says, hey, I've arrived, I don't need to work anymore. Rather than saying, hey, you worked really hard on that, good job, I saw the effort you put into that, great. Excuse me. And I think we need to make sure we stop and we affirm effort. Again, as a teacher, over the years, I've seen many students work really hard on projects, get a C, and I'll go up to them and say, hey, you did a great, you put in a lot of hard work on this, and I appreciate all the work you did. You did a good job with the work you put in. Because I want to affirm the effort. I mean, the grade is not an A, and they maybe weren't an A student, but I wanted to affirm their effort. And there's been plenty of A students that I have critiqued for getting lower grades because I didn't see the effort. And so I think it's important that we reward effort, and not so much always that final result of only A's, get the awards. And then lastly is surrounding yourself with growth mindset people. This is like the birds of a feather flock together analogy. If you're going to hang around fixed mindset people, you're going to become and take on the characteristics of that fixed mindset group. If you hang out with growth mindset people, you're going to be challenged and pushed, and you will take on the characteristics of a growth mindset group. And so it's really the challenge of our friends and who we hang out with, and sometimes that can be difficult to sit back and analyze and make changes, but there is truth to it. If you hang around people who all they do is binge watch Netflix, hang out on Nintendo and PlayStation, go to the mall, read beauty magazine, just kind of put their brain into neutral, that's what's going to happen. But if you hang out with people who want to pursue excellence, who want to pursue growth, that'll happen as well. So the challenge, don't have a fixed mindset. And to be honest with you, when we all think about it, we all do have a growth mindset. This is one of the reasons why I think this is important. We all have a growth mindset. It's just a matter of finding where we're using our growth mindset and learning to apply it to areas where we are fixed mindset. We're stubborn. And so that's the challenge. Take that growth mindset that we do have and apply it to all the other areas of our life. I hope this was a challenge to you. I hope this was helpful for you. Pass it on, share it, like it, comment on it, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you back next week.